being associated with Linked or being a Linked student has been just amazing, from start to finish.
So today we're going to reveal exactly what Kat learned making $5,500 in 3 days consecutively at 3 different permanent jewelry events. And so without further ado, welcome Kat. She is a, amazing Link student. She's part of our community. If you could briefly introduce yourself and kind of go over like where you're located, what you do in the business and how long you've been doing it.
So my name is Catherine McDonald. I'm in Palm Coast, Florida. I signed up with Link the very first night you launched. What was that, September or something like that? And didn't know much about permanent jewelry. When I was looking into it as I'm watching Jake and trying to figure out exactly what it is, I'm like, who would want permanent jewelry? That just doesn't make sense. So, but I stood behind what, you said, because I know you're not going to put your name on anything that's, lousy, if you will. So I thought, let me give it a chance.
Awesome. So I'm definitely glad you did. You're one of those, loyal clients, like you said, like right when I mentioned it, because you've worked with me, or you still do, in the past with advertising and marketing for your other business. But tell us a little bit about like, what business were you doing before? And then how did that, work when you added permanent jewelry?
So I'm a permanent makeup artist. This is my second career. I just retired probably 2 years ago. And I realized quickly that I needed something. I was just pouring out money instead of producing. And I just felt like I need to do something. So I did permanent makeup, which I really like. Jake helped me out with that a lot. And then, he mentioned the permanent jewelry, and that just was like icing on the cake. Getting clients in and either converting them from one to the other was just pretty seamless.
Yeah, so we mentioned at the beginning of this video that you've done, 3 events the past 3 days, or that was last week, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll get to that in a second, but
okay.
Do you also take appointments? Or I guess a lot of people who are like maybe have existing beauty businesses or existing permanent makeup artists, they're probably asking like, how did you incorporate in your business? Do you take more appointments? Do you more events? Like, how's that worked for you?
So right now, Palm Coast is a little bit of a retirement city, if you will. So, the average age is in the 60s. The ladies that come to the salon, perfect for permanent makeup, but were a little bit harder to convert for permanent jewelry. Not that they didn't, but, not understanding the concept, if you will. So I do take appointments. Running ads with Google has been great, which you've helped me with. And that's given me a ton of insight in the area. A lot of people schedule just through Google. And then I started doing outside events, markets and pop-ups. And that's really where, it's fun. It's like high energy, quick paced. And I really like that rather than like the appointment. Okay, I have a couple appointments a day or whatever. I really like that environment.
Yeah, so I guess we can get to the 3. Or I guess how many events have you done?
I'm only on like my 6th out event. Like big events that I sign up for, like markets, etc. I've done a few pop-ups in local salons and things like that, but just really like focusing on searching out these vendor events and signing up for those. And yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what do you wish you had known like during your first event that you've learned doing those events since then?
That there is no bad event, if you will. I mean, I've only been in a few, 6, I think it is. If that's correct, 5 or 6. And even the slower ones, you make so many connections with other vendors. They are a plethora of information on, the good events, who to contact. I've had ladies, even clients or customers who come and have had jewelry done, and then they're like, you've got to go at this event to be, so it's, even if you think your sales are just ho-hum, you just come away with so much.
Yeah, because I've seen some of our students or even just other permanent jewelry artists who say like, oh, well, this event, wasn't successful because I only made $800. I didn't make $5,000. And so what would you say to them?
So I would say that, well, I mean, $800 at an event, I mean, it would take me, 2 brow appointments to make that. And that's a full day of 8 hours. So to do that in an event in 4 hours, amazing. I mean, I'd take that all day long.
Exactly. And like you said, you build connections, you build relationships, because like even if you make $800 at one event, like you can get those people's contact info, and you can follow up with them. You can get reviews, referrals. They can become repeat customers. And so that event, even though you only made $800 on that day, can pay off a lot more in the long run.
Absolutely. And when I have a client in my space or, what have you, I like to be in their moment, and I think that's what really makes a difference. We have to remember this is their moment. They don't care what's going on and all the other things or the people who are waiting in line. This is their moment to
Yeah.
enjoy. And they are like, wow, they really love the jewelry. I'd say about 99.9% of the ladies who received a piece of jewelry from me come back for another because it's so comfortable, it's effortless, and so even if you have, say, a poor event in your own eyes, it will still turn around and do well for you.
Yeah, because you said like when you did those three consecutive events back to back, one day you made 800, the other day you made what, 30, over
Yeah, it was
3,000?
like 900, and then it was like 3,700 the last one. This was just like smoking. It was a longer event. It was like an 8-hour event, and it was really, really busy. And it was in a different area. I traveled an hour away, and the clientele really knew what it was. They were like, "Oh my gosh, I've seen that. I've been wanting that. I can't believe you're here." And it was just kind of that situation. So it was really good.
Yeah, and what were the typical demographics in the area where you made like the 3,700 or whatever it was? Was it younger people or middle aged?
It was, I would say 75%, those kind of 20s ish, and then 25% of, the older ladies like myself, I guess. Just regular ladies. And they get excited about it. You have to talk to them about it, explain how comfortable it is without a clasp. You don't have to fumble with the clasp. Most pieces of jewelry get weakened in the clasp area, or the clasp itself breaks. So this eliminates all of that. So it's really just educating your customer as to what they're getting, why it's so great, and then they pass that information on.
Yeah, and the reason I laughed when you said, women my age, because before the video started, you said you're in your 50s. I was like, no way. Like, you definitely don't look like you're in your 50s.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
So, yeah,
Yep.
whatever anti-aging stuff you're using, give it to me.
Microneedling. Microneedling is amazing. Yeah.
There you go. So, when you're doing these events, like let's say that one of our listeners or viewers right now, they don't have that customer service experience. Maybe they've never owned a business before. What customer service tips would you give them to make that client feel comfortable?
I would say just think of it from their perspective. How would you want to be treated? How would you want your mother to be treated? And just go that extra mile, because honestly, they'll remember 10% of the information I'm giving, like rinse this off after the beach, blah, blah, blah. But they will 100% remember the feeling that they've had there, for me talking to them and being, telling them, I hope you love this piece, wear it in good health, all of those things. Give them the little cloth, a lot of girls do those aftercare bags, and just like putting the emphasis on what value you're giving them.
Love that. Because so many people I wouldn't say so many, but there are quite a few people that message us and they're like, how is this different than just selling a piece of jewelry? Why would people pay extra for it? And they don't really understand what it means to provide an experience as a business.
True. And the clients, it's a one-on-one. They see you working with these tiny pieces. They see you, custom fitting them, putting these charms on, making it their piece. That's huge. That doesn't happen every day. You go to these things and you see a little necklace or you see something and you just grab it and stick it in a bag and go. They're leaving with this live piece that they chose and that handcrafted and lovingly put on them.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about permanent jewelry is it's not just the massage, it's not just lashes, which nothing against those services. It's just that it doesn't create the same memories and connection with most people like permanent jewelry does. Like they're going to remember that moment and remember, getting that, especially if they come with their friends or their family or you name it.
Exactly. And it really does. It's just, again, I focus on being in their moment. In that moment, it's all about them. And that's really, really important.
Yeah.
To me, as someone who's providing that customer service or that client experience, because that's what they're going to walk away with. They're going to walk away with feeling like they're my friend, like they just met someone, find something in common. If you're fumbling, a lot of girls get nervous. And if you're fumbling or if you have to redo the weld, talk to them about it, and kind of just get to know them and it
Yep.
makes the whole experience that much better.
Exactly. So when it comes to events, I guess we'll go from the experience side more to the, technical side. How do you prefer like your inventory? Like what have you found like the do's and don'ts of inventory are?
So I'm still in the embryonic stage of that, even though I've been doing it for almost a year now. I buy enough. A lot of the pieces, even though they say, oh, this company's good, or whoever you're buying it from. I mean, of course, Linked is amazing, but you don't always have what we need. So if you're looking elsewhere, then, I try out my pieces and wear them to make sure that the quality is good, because that's really important. And then I have enough that I'm comfortable purchasing, as an inventory. And I figure if I run out of something, they'll either choose something else. It's never been a problem. So I'm just kind of, making sure I have a comfortable enough, and then go from there. And then, because you think, I'm trying to figure, oh, what are my most popular pieces? But every event, something's popular in that event that wasn't the last time,
Okay.
So it's just kind of still trying to figure that out.
So you're in Florida. Have anklets been popular?
Anklets are popular all year, obviously, because we're in Florida. And I love doing anklets. I see a lot in the chats that girls just don't like doing anklets. I guess maybe because I've done so many that I'm an anklet specialist, if you will. I
Well,
like the anklets.
do you have any anklet tips for those watching?
Um, Ask them questions. What kind of sneakers do you wear? What kind of shoes do what's your, job? Like, so that comfortably how you can, size that anklet. And then leave room for them to get another one. I have, I don't know, 5 or 6 on my ankle, and they're all different size so that they don't tangle. And it's just, that's a great selling point, and once they get one, then they can come back for more.
Love that. So if you guys are loving this content right now, this free advice, please drop a comment below, let us know. Or if you're on the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. We're always trying to build up our podcast reviews. Alrighty. So next question. Let's talk about, taxes. It's tax season right now. You're a seasoned business owner. A lot of people who are new to business have been asking a lot of questions lately. And so what are your, top tax tips?
I would say make sure that you are charging tax. I see a lot of people that say, sorry, my dog is
No
getting
worries.
jealous. A lot of people are saying, they don't charge tax, or is this taxable? It's not really. We need to be charging sales tax, period. We're providing a product. So make sure you know what is required for you by your state, and set that money aside, pay it quarterly, whatever the requirements are for your state. Each state's different, so that's really, really important.
Yeah, and especially with permanent jewelry, you're going to be making money if you're getting yourself out there and trying. And so make sure that you hire an accountant, because there's so many ins and outs and things that you're losing money on, because there's two parts to business. There's one, there's making money, and the second one is how to legally keep it from the government and keep it in your pocket and not theirs, because
Exactly.
they're going to waste it. So you might as well have it for yourself.
Yes.
So
And they
yeah,
want their cut, so that you're going to have to do it. But just make sure that you research. This is a real business.
yeah.
Even if you do it as a side gig, even if you're just doing it for fun, it's still a real business, and it can make you money.
Yep, for sure. And there's so many little things you can do to save yourself money, and just like, you can write off, and this is not legal advice. Always go to an accountant. This is just based on my personal opinion of what I do, but you can write off things like cell phone bills, technology, like laptops and cell phones, like,
Right.
mileage to these events. Like eventually, if you're doing good enough, you can get your own, like company vehicle for go
Vehicle.
back and forth from,
Yep.
so yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. I don't want to dive too deep into that, but I just want those people listening and watching to realize that's something they need to take serious right now, and not wait till the end of the year, or not wait till next April when things are due.
Right. Exactly. Because then you'll, be behind the 8 ball, if you will. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing is having a separate credit card. So every time I start a new business, I make sure I have a separate bank account and a separate credit card. That way, when I do hire a bookkeeper, someone to look at all my expenses and stuff, it makes it easy, and it's not mixed with all my personal, spending.
I agree. And I try and put everything on that card so that then I have everything in writing in a statement. I mean, exactly where you spent every penny, and it makes it much easier to take care of your tax liability, if you will, and what your write-offs are and where you're spending your money.
Yep, exactly. So when you go to these events, like let's say that you see a quote competitor or somebody else doing permanent jewelry, what goes through your mind, and what's your thought process on that?
My first the first thing that goes through my mind is I want to meet that person. What are they about? What's, their style? Each of us has our own it factor. So if someone's even right next door selling permanent jewelry, it's going to be different than the experience that they're going to have with me, whether it's selection, whether it's how your booth is set up, whether it's your personality. So, it's shouldn't worry about that. Don't even give that a thought. It's collaboration, talk to them, find out what they're about. And I had a couple people at the last event. There was another permanent jewelry person there, and I sent some people there because they were like, well, I'm not really sure. I go, well, she might have some selection, check her out, see what she has, because, if I don't have what you want, but that's just all part of running a business. How many pizza places are there? How many gas stations are there? I mean, you have the ones that you like for whatever reason and vice versa. So yeah, there's plenty of room.
And sometimes I'll get like potential students or even students, and you've seen this in the group where like, oh my gosh, there's one other person, and there's two other people doing this in my area. I'm just like, every ounce of energy you spend looking at them or worried about them, like you're not spending helping your customers and helping your own business. And so just focus on yourself, do your best, and like you said, collaborate, if anything, not compete.
Right. I agree. Yeah. In that event, I went over and I introduced myself. I was like, hi, I didn't realize you guys were here. I'm a couple booths over, and just kind of chit chatted with the young lady. And it was, I think she was surprised that I came over. Honestly, I think she was surprised because it was at the end of the event. It was like 8 hours in, and they didn't come over to me. I didn't realize they were there until the last minute. And when I went over there, it seemed like they had already known that there was someone else there. So just, we're all in this together.
Yep, exactly.
So,
And I try to educate people on that because some people just spend so much energy on it. Like we have another trainer in the industry who she literally spends all her time trying to bash us. I'm like, how do you have time to help your students if you're spending all your energy on us?
yeah, and it's not healthy for you and your business or anything else. So there's plenty of room. Again, they can't mimic you or clone you. Even if they tried to copy everything you did, it would still be a completely different experience.
Yeah.
So you just have to have your little thing that you do, and go for it.
Yep, for sure. So let's talk about, Link. You said you signed up on day one, and you've seen our community and our course grow like crazy because, me and Sarah's the trainer for those who don't know. Basically, we always reinvest back into the company. And so we've had lots of success stories with the original content that we filmed with a videographer, but instead of just taking that money and running, we were always like, how can we make the course better? And so we reinvested into like new videos, updated course content. We actually have more stuff coming out within like the next month or less. So what has your experience been with, the Link community as you've seen it grow?
Well, from day one, I mean, I just jumped on when you suggested, hey, this is going to be an awesome opportunity. I really didn't know anything about permanent jewelry or what that was going to, entail. I didn't know there were two types, an unbranded machine, the Orion, it was just very, new to me. And being associated with Link or being a Linked student has been just amazing, from start to finish. I received my kit and literally started that day. I mean, it was, going through the courses, and then any issues, Sarah's right there, or the community's right there. I mean, the girls are just really, again, it feels a lot like collaboration and not competition. And, it's so helpful to not feel like an island, feel like you have something behind you, like, okay, I'm not in this by myself.
Yep, exactly. And I'm so thankful for that because that's exactly the vision we had for it. I just, I was nervous it might turn not necessarily like our students, but I didn't want it to be like the permanent makeup industry where there is subsets of people who are very negative and stuff like that, which I think there might still be that in other groups, but definitely not in our student group.
No, I don't feel that at all in our student group. Everyone cheers everyone on when something's going on. If someone has an issue, girls are right in there to jump in and help. And I see them say, DM, send me whatever I can, it's just everyone's right there. I feel like we're in it together, like it is a community. So that's been great. Really, really great. Yeah.
And I know you're going to be speaking at the Permanent Jewelry Expo, in May.
Yes.
I'm going to be speaking there. So I look forward to, meeting you there in person.
Yeah, I'm excited about the expo because, we'll be able to see some hands-on things. There's going to be a welding lab. All the information that's going to come out of the courses is just going to be phenomenal. Be walking away with some really great information.
Yep. I am super excited about that. Well, if there's anyone on the fence and then maybe they're watching or listening right now and they're like, I know that permanent jewelry is awesome. I've seen that you've, made 5,500 in 3 days and more before that.
Mhm.
But I'm on the fence because I know it's kind of a big investment for me. What would you tell them?
I would say if you're even asking yourself that, then you've got one foot in the door,
Mhm.
just do it. It really is, it's fun. It's, all businesses are stress, but it's not that, it's a different kind of stress. It's really, especially being in the linked group because you feel like you're not alone. You have somewhere to turn to. You have some people who are experiencing the same things you are. It just kind of brings it all together. So it's just do it. It really is. It's fun. I'm enjoying myself.
Awesome. And that's what it's about. I mean, of course, business is about making money and you don't want to be a nonprofit, which is what I call I had a friend that said that, before she started permanent jewelry, she called her business a nonprofit because she was putting all this money in, but not getting any profit out. And so I want people to go from nonprofit to having fun and making profits. But yeah, that's fun. Enjoy the journey. But yeah, if they want to follow your Instagram and check out your stuff, where can they find you?
Beauty Brow Ink, INK. I never changed when I first started, I just put it all under my permanent makeup name because I was like, I didn't really know what was going to happen. And I haven't changed the name. That's my brand. And, so it's Beauty Brow Ink, INK.
And that
That's
is a
me.
common question I get is like, should I create a separate Instagram and a separate social media
Hmm.
for permanent jewelry, or should I put it under my current existing beauty business or salon? And I think you can go either way. Um,
Yes, I agree. I think you can go either way. And when they come on there, there's information on everything. And then they're asking, oh, I didn't know you did permanent makeup, or oh, I didn't know you did permanent jewelry. Same thing kind of happens. So I just am kind of rolling with it at this point,
yep.
which is what a business is about. It just
Exactly.
becomes, what it is. You have to just go with it.
Yep. And I think some people who have never started a business before, they think it's like this. I mean, there are certain steps you do, that you learn along the way, but it's not just like, I'm going to follow steps 1 through 5 and I have to do it exactly like this. Like there's multiple ways to skin a cat, or I guess I shouldn't say that because your name's Cat, but
Thank you.
there's
Please
multiple
don't.
ways to do it. But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, if you're watching this and you're overthinking it and overanalyzing it, and like, well, do I have to file an LLC? Do I have to do this? Like, just get started, and you will figure those things out. And I'm guarantee you, every question you have is going to be on the Facebook group.
yes, and you can't educate yourself on every little thing before you go. It's never going to happen. You'll never be able to pull the trigger. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, just go with it and be able to pivot. That's all. You just have to have pivotability, if you will. I don't know if
Yep.
that's a word, but that's what you need. Yeah.
Yep. It's all about adapting and moving. Bang, bang, bang.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can't just sit there and overanalyze and overthink and sit on the fence. Like I tell everyone, if you're sitting on the fence, the only thing you're going to get is splinters.
No, and you have to make a decision one way or the other. And if you're sitting on the fence, then the decision that you've made is to do nothing.
Yep.
You have to think of it that way? Is that the decision you want? You want to do nothing? So you've got to just make a decision, pivot, go.
Love it. Well, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for always coming on here and sharing your advice, and I appreciate it. If you guys are watching or listening, please, like I said, leave a comment below. Let us know what your favorite piece of advice was. What did you learn from this? And tell Kat how much you appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.